Okay. Hare Krishna, is everybody able to see my screen and hear my voice? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
And you are able to see the screen also, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Okay. So yesterday in the previous class, we saw how Krishna says that Krishna advises Arjuna to perform activities, okay, to do karma for the sake of Krishna, okay, following in the footsteps of the Lord's previous disciples. Okay. So now Krishna gives transcendental knowledge, that is Gnana, how to perform karma. So today we'll be seeing understanding karma on the platform of Gnana. Okay, so Krishna gives that Gnana how we can do karma so that we can be not be bound in this material world. We can be free, not bound, and we can go back to Godhead. So it's like Krishna is practically going to talk about Nishkama Karma Yoga. So he's going to give that transcendental knowledge, Gnana, to Arjuna, how to do work. Okay, so let's see what Gnana or transcendental knowledge regarding karma Krishna gives Arjuna. Okay, so here in the first page it is said, basically 16 to 24 deals with understanding karma on the platform of Gnana. So let's see what is covered like as a gist in 16 to 24. So here Krishna gives transcendental knowledge helps one to clear up philosophical doubts. Okay, so when you gain knowledge, all your doubts will be cleared. Okay, whatever doubts that you have will be cleared. Also helps to clear up karmic bank balance, burns karma. Okay, knowledge helps burn karma. Okay, karma is the universal law of nature. For every action, there is a reaction. See, karma, when you do when you do a good thing, you get a good reaction. When you do a bad thing, you get a bad reaction. So when you do karma, obviously there is a reaction, either a bit good or a bad reaction. Okay, see, bad karma is obviously undesirable, and Krishna explains that even good karma should be avoided. See, if we have bad or good karma, we are prone to come back to this material world. See, if we only do good activities, we'll be in heavenly planets. If we only do bad activities, we'll be in hellish planets. But who are on the earthly planet? Those who do both good and bad. Those who have good and bad karma, they come back to this material world, earthly planet. Okay. So that's why Krishna is telling if you don't want to come to this earthly planet, you should neither have good nor bad karma. So both, you should not think, oh, only I want to accumulate good karma, pious by doing pious things. No, not like that. Krishna is telling, see, not bad, not only bad karma should you avoid, you should even avoid good karma. Because if you have good karma, again you have to come back to this material world. I mean, like the 70 planet is also a material planet, right? So you have to come there. After your pious credit is exhausted, again you have to come back to this material world again. Okay, so you have to undergo pain, distress, everything. So you don't want to come back to this material planet. All you have to do is you should have no good karma, no bad karma. You should become a karma. Okay, we'll see today what is akarma. So beyond good and bad is the spiritual level. So no action and reaction, akarma. So we'll see further what is akarma. So nishkama karma yoga. So through gnana. So Krishna will explain what action is, forbidden action is, and inaction is. Okay. See what is karma. So from 16 to 20, it is told about karma, vikarma, akarma. So we'll see that. So what is karma? Karma is actions which are performed in terms of one's prescribed duties as mentioned in the revealed scriptures. So karma is you do activities that are mentioned in the scriptures. Okay, like what you do yagnas or something like good thing, pious things that you do, and which pious in the sense you follow what is mentioned in the Vedas, the scriptures. You do your prescribed duties per that. Okay, you follow what is there in the shastras. That is karma. Then what is vikarma? Actions which are performed by the misuse of one's freedom, which direct one to the lower life. So vikarma is you whimsically do whatever comes to your mind. You don't follow the scriptures. You go against the scriptures. Okay, you do whatever comes to your mind. You think that why should I follow the scriptures? I don't want to follow. I will do whatever I want. So such people, they go to, instead of getting, I mean, like if they do good karma, if they follow the scriptures, they would have been purified and they would have got a chance to perform Krishna consciousness. But no, they don't want to do like that. They said, no, we don't want to follow the scriptures. We do whatever we want. We have that knowledge, intelligence, but they're actually ignorant. They think they are intelligent, but they're ignorant. So, which leads them to a lower form of life in their next birth. And what is akarma? Actions which free one from the cycle of birth and death. See, akarma is like when you perform your duties, prescribed duties, for the sake of Krishna. Because Krishna is asking us to do, we do those actions without any expectation of results. Okay, so that is akarma. So, which frees us from the cycle of birth and death. We go back to Krishna. And what is the law of nature? For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, this all we've learned when we were small in our science classes, right? Okay, so now let's go to 4.16. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayo api yatra mohitaha tatte karma pravikshyami yajnatva mokshase ashubhat. So what are they saying here? Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So the concepts that Krishna is going to explain, Krishna is going to tell about what action is, what inaction is, and like what is forbidden action. All these Krishna is going to explain, and he's telling all this is very difficult even for the intelligent. It's a very difficult topic, and it sometimes bewilders them. Okay, so this is what Krishna is saying. But because of knowing these three, you will be liberated from this material world. Okay, so let's also see 17th, and then let's see the purport of what Prabhupada says. Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. So translation: the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. So Krishna is telling intricacies of action are very hard to understand. So what should we know? What action is. So in action, again, there are three types. Action, what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Okay, so let's see. See, action is, we've seen right here. Action is like the activities that we do, that the prescribed duties that we do in the shastras, recommended by the shastras. That is action. Okay, and what is, sorry, one second. Yeah, what is forbidden action? So if you do whatever you want and you go against the shastras, that is forbidden action. And what inaction is? Inaction means acting in Krishna consciousness. So there is no karma for that. Okay, that is akarma. Inaction is akarma, acting in Krishna consciousness. So let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport. In Krishna consciousness, one has to follow the leadership of authorized persons, the disciplic succession like Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Manu, the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlada, Bhishma, Sukadeva, Goswami, Yamaraj, Janaka, and Bali Maharaj without mental speculation. See, they are all the Mahajans, 12 Mahajans, who are authorized in Krishna consciousness. So whatever these people say, we can blindly follow. You don't even need to speculate. They are authorities. Okay, and their authorities, they spread Krishna consciousness. You know Prahlada, right? How he spread Krishna consciousness. He was so firm in his bhakti. Okay, even Sukadev Goswami, he preached the Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, so all are authorized devotees. So we can blindly follow them. We don't have to doubt them. We just follow in their footsteps. Okay. The system of Krishna consciousness was first narrated to the sun god. This, we saw, right? Sun god Vivaswan, Krishna tells millions of years ago. The sun god explained it to his son Manu, and Manu explained it to his son Ikshvaku. So Ikshvaku was the king of earthly planet. Okay. And from then on, the system is current on this earth. Okay, from then on, like when it was given to Ikshvaku, the Bhagavad Gita came to the earthly planet. So from that time itself, Bhagavad Gita is there. So Lord, now because of disciplic succession was broken or due to some reason, it got broken. So now the Lord decided to instruct Arjuna about Krishna consciousness directly. So because of the direct instruction of the Lord to Arjuna, anyone who follows in the footsteps of Arjuna is certainly not bewildered. So we have to follow, like how, just like how Arjuna took the advice of Krishna, we also just have to follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. Okay, we should not be confused or bewildered. Okay, same like how Arjuna followed, we just have to follow in his footsteps. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness can deliver a person from the entanglement of material existence. Okay, so there is no way, no way, no way out. Okay, only action performed in Krishna consciousness can deliver a person from this material existence. Okay, because when you perform karma kanda, that is, you're attached to the fruits of your results, then you get entangled because either you get good or bad result. This could be the reason for you to be born again. To enjoy or suffer, you have to again be born, right? Your good or bad activities. So if you don't want any entanglement, you should become akarma. You should perform your duties for the sake of Krishna. See, you should not perform your duties for sense gratification. If you perform for sense gratification, you will obviously expect, you will do something with expectation of something. See, you read for an exam with the expectation that I should get a first rank. Obviously, there will be when you do it for your sense gratification, you will certainly expect a result. But now Krishna is telling, if you perform Krishna consciousness, like you perform your prescribed duties for me, that is, they are performing your duty to satisfy not your senses, but to satisfy the senses of Krishna. Then you will not have any reaction because you're doing it for Krishna, right? So you don't see what the result is. You leave the result to Krishna. See, you go for book distribution to Krishna, for Krishna. See, it's up to Krishna because Krishna is present as Paramatma in everybody's every living entity. So when we go for book distribution, it is up to Krishna. See, we think we are doing book distribution and we are bringing them to Krishna consciousness. No, we are just an instrument. We just take the book to them, but it is Krishna as Paramatma in their heart who encourages them to take the book or not take the book. It depends. Okay, so it's Krishna who decides. So we are doing it for Krishna. It's not like even if that day one book is also sold, we should not be what do you feel morose or sad. Oh, even one book is not sold because it is not in our hands. It is Krishna's decision, right? So we do work for Krishna. So we don't expect any result. We just do the work and just leave the rest to Krishna. Okay. So then there will be no entanglement in this material existence. So there will be no karma. Okay. So if one is serious about liberation from material bondage, one has to understand the distinction between action, inaction, and unauthorized actions. See, if you are really serious and you want to get liberated from this material world, you have to understand what action is, inaction is, and unauthorized, that is, forbidden action is. Okay. To understand Krishna consciousness, one has to perform actions knowing his relationship with the Supreme as his eternal servitor. See, when you perform Krishna consciousness, you have to perform with the mode that you are an eternal servitor, not just for some pious this thing or like that. I mean, I'm doing Krishna, I'm doing this, you give me this, not with some fruitive activities in mind. Okay, so we have to do it like in thinking in mind that, okay, Krishna, I'm your eternal servitor. So we should be in that mood. We have to do our actions in that mood. Okay. All other actions are, see, and any other activity that you do against, I mean, like not for Krishna, and you do it for your sense gratification or any other action, kind of actions, are vikarmas or prohibited actions. Okay. So now here they're talking about three types of people: vikarmis, karmis, and akarmis. So vikarmis are, they don't follow the Vedas, they don't follow the scriptures. So risk of being degraded to lower species. See, they follow their own rules and regulations. They say, why should we follow the scriptures? Who knows who gave the scriptures? Maybe some man, like Veda Vyas is also, they don't think, take Veda Vyas as an incarnation of the Lord. They think he's also a human being like us. What is the guarantee that it is like authorized? So they don't believe. So we will do whatever we want to be, because he's also one like us. So they don't believe. So thinking like that, they do whatever they want. So they are degraded from the human life to even a lower species of life, to animal life. Okay, so they're not appreciated by saintly people. So saintly people don't like them. Okay, because they don't follow the scriptures, they do whatever, whimsically, whatever comes to their mind. Defeat the purpose of life. So they defeat the purpose of life because actually, what is the goal of human life? The human life is to perform tapasya and go back to Godhead, which they are not able to do. So they are actually going still lower to animal life, right? So they defeat the purpose of life. Next is karmis. Now they follow the Vedas. So they follow, they prescribe duties according to the scriptures. So they perform, because they do all good activities, pious, they go to Swarga. Okay, they get punya, right? So they go to Swarga and they get bodies of demigods. And eventually, after their pious credit is finished, they again come back to Martyaloka. This earthly planet is also called Martyaloka. So they come back to this earthly planet. And Akarmis have come to the platform of devotional service to Krishna. So here, Akarmis are those people who have started their worship to Krishna. They perform devotional service to Krishna. Like they start chanting, they start reading Prabhupada books, they start hearing, and they do seva in the temple to the Lord, to the devotees, book distribution, prasadam distribution, like that. Okay, and they know fruitative activity binds. See, if they do anything for they know that if they do anything for themselves, that is fruitative activity. Obviously, there'll be some result, right? So that binds them to the cycle of rebirth into this material world. They know that. So that is why they do things for the satisfaction of Krishna, which does not bind them. If they do any work for satisfaction of Krishna, it does not bind. So they know that if they do it for their own sense gratification, it means for every action that they do, they expect some result, fruitative result, right? And that fruitative result could be bad or good. So to enjoy that bad or good karma, we have to come back again, take birth. Okay, so people know this who do devotional service. So they do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. So which is akarma. Okay, so they have no interest for fruitative results. So let's go to 4.18. So here we can see, right here in the picture, vikarmis are there people who are eating non-veg. Karmis are there performing sacrifices, Vedic yagnas. And here we can see in devotional service, we can see Narada Muni. He's always saying Narayana, Narayana. He's like always in devotional service. He's always preaching to devotees. He's always looking for changing people to Krishna consciousness. And we know in Srimad Bhagavatam how many people Narada Muni has changed, right? Because they know the importance of devotional service. They are on a mission. They want everybody to take up this devotional service. Okay, 4.18. Karmanya karmaya pashed akarmani cha karmaya sabuddhiman manusheshu sayuktaha kritsna karma krit. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. So first of all, let's clear this confusion. What is inaction in action and action in inaction? Okay. So first, let's see inaction in action. So what does this mean? So you perform actions without attachment to results. Here Krishna is explaining Nishkama Karma Yoga. So inaction means Nishkama Karma Yoga. So you perform actions without attachment to results. Okay, you do your duty, prescribed duty, without any attachment to results, but dedicating your work to Krishna. Okay, so then you don't accumulate karma, you become akarma. Right? So example, devotees who engage in devotional service. So they dedicate, I mean, like they suppose, for instance, you're doing book distribution. So you do books distribution because Krishna wants it. Krishna likes, Krishna wants you to do. That's the reason we do book distribution, right? So that everybody gets the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, what Krishna has instructed, without any result. They don't get anything by going onto the roads and doing, in fact, they sometimes do not even go to their jobs. They take leave, especially in the December month book distribution. They take leave and they distribute books. What do they get? They do all this for the satisfaction of Krishna without any expectation of results. So that is akarma. That is not binding them to this world. So they do work for Krishna without any expectation of result. So that is Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is inaction in action. The first one. Okay. Now, like actually, although see, it looks like they are accumulating karma, though actually their actions though they may look like karmis, they are it looks like they are accumulating karma, but they are not accumulating karma. They are free from karma. See, now it may appear that Arjuna is fighting an ordinary war, but he is not accumulating any karma. Why? Because Krishna wants the war. He is doing it. Arjuna is doing it on the order of Krishna, right? So that is why he has no karma. So the activity that he is doing is akarma now. Okay, he is doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. Okay, so this is the first one. Now, action in inaction. Okay. Now, when someone appears to be inactive outwardly, okay, so he's not doing any work. He's just sitting. He appears inactive outwardly, but their mind is engaged in thoughts, plans, or desires. See, they have given up their prescribed duties. They don't want to do any prescribed duties. They don't want to do any activities. But after we've discussed earlier, right? Though you're physically not doing, your mind is always active. Okay, in your mind, you have different thoughts, plans, or desires, because of which you are accumulating karma. Because of the desires and thoughts your mind is undergoing, that is one of the reasons you're undergoing karma. Okay, example, see, someone renounces and goes to the forest and he meditates, but still in mind he has all these material desires, right? That is action in inaction. Okay. But actually, Krishna does not encourage action and inaction, because renunciation is never encouraged. Karma sannyas is never encouraged by Krishna, because until you get purified, karma sannyas is not preferred. Okay, who can take karma sannyas? Who are totally purified, are detached from this material world. They have no material desires, and then once they get purified, then they come to the forest, and then they get this jnana. They develop this jnana, and they do all these meditation, right? These chakras or something. All those they do. They meditate on God by sitting. Okay, through jnana, they read by themselves, they read all this jnana, they develop, but they don't go beyond impersonal Brahman. So the last is they go to impersonal Brahman, and they merge in the impersonal Brahman. But Krishna never encourages this. So because earlier we read, right, most of them are pretenders. They come as karma sannyasis, like they give up all their activities, but in the mind, they're always thinking about material activities and material attachments, the sense objects. They have different kind of desires. They're enjoying in their mind. So they are pretenders. They are not real karma sannyasis. That's why Krishna doesn't encourage karma sannyas. He says Nishkama karma yoga is better than karma sannyas. Okay, so that is why what Krishna is telling. So you have to understand this. So inaction is better. That is Nishkama karma yoga is better than action and inaction, which is karma sannyas. Okay, right? So this should be clear. Now, for in the purport, Prabhupada says a Krishna conscious person is intelligent as though he is engaged in all sorts of activities. He does not enjoy or suffer. He does not suffer or enjoy the effects of work. Yeah, because a Krishna conscious person, he knows, he's intelligent. He knows that if he does any sense gratification, if he does anything for himself, obviously there'll be fruits of action. The fruits, the result, fruitative results are there, good or bad. Again, good or bad, you have to get come back and enjoy those good or bad again in this material world. You have to take birth again. So that's why they don't want all this. So they do everything for the sense gratification of Krishna. Okay, so that they don't have to enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. So one in Krishna consciousness is free from the bonds of karma, as all his activities are performed for Krishna. So we saw, right? So we do all the activities for the sense gratification of Krishna. Akarma means without reaction to work. So you have no reaction. Akarma means no good reaction, no bad reaction. Okay. The impersonalist ceases fruitative activities out of fear, so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization. See, here we discussed, right? Karma sannyas. What they do? They don't want any, they fear. If they do any fruitative activities, if they do their prescribed duties, there is a chance, right? There is not, it's not a chance. There is surely bad or good reactions. So when you get good or bad reactions, that is one, it is a stumbling block for self-realization, right? So that they fear, I mean, so if we do fruitive activities, again, we'll be not able to concentrate on our spiritual progress. Okay, so that is why they fear and they stop all this. If we stop all the fruitive activities, then there'll be no result, right? Though no result, if you don't perform any action, there is no reaction, right? So that's why they don't do any activities. They stop all their prescribed duties and they go to the forest, and there they start doing, they all of a sudden they start without any purification. They just all of a sudden go without purification, like they still have material desires in mind and everything, they have attachments, they have. Okay, they are like pretenders. If they are really, they got virakti of this material world and they have no more material desires, and then okay, such kind of people can really stop the activities, prescribed duties. But if you all of a sudden just out of fear, if you stop your activities and go to the forest, you, because you are not purified in your mind, you have all those thoughts, your desires and everything you have, and you are, though you look like outward you are meditating, but inside the mind you have all these bad thoughts of desires and all these different thoughts. So that's why Krishna doesn't prefer karma sannyas unless you are thoroughly purified and you're virakta of material desires and everything. And Krishna always prefers that you work and give the results to me. Like that, okay? The personalist, so this is what the impersonalist does. He becomes a karma sannyas, like mostly he'll be a pretender, like, which Krishna doesn't like. But what does the personalist do? Devotee do? So devotee is aware that he is the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages himself in Krishna conscious activities. Okay. As everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys transcendental happiness in doing his service. Okay, so he's happy because every job that he's doing is for Krishna. He enjoys because Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure. So when we serve Krishna, we also get a part of that happiness. Okay, so he also enjoys that transcendental happiness and he's immune to all reactions. So because he's working for Krishna, There is no reaction. Okay, so it's akarma. Okay, so this is what we discussed, right? Action and inaction, and inaction and action. Okay, so next, yes, 4.19. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita ज्ञानाग्निदग्ध कर्माणं tam ahuhu panditam buddha. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. See, one who is in full knowledge uh, and whose very endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. So, one who is in full knowledge, who understands that if I don't do sense gratification, my personal sense gratification, and I do try to satisfy senses of Krishna, then what will happen? Okay, then he will be in perfect knowledge. See, he said by the sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. So when a person or when devotee knows that he should not do anything for his sense gratification, he should only do for satisfaction of Krishna, then what will happen? All the resultant reactions will be burned up, like that. Whatever sins he has gathered up all these years, all these janmas, will be burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. So you know how quickly fire burns up everything, right? It's just like in a second or a minute, everything is over. So like that, millions and millions of amount of whatever reactions we have, good or bad, is just burned by this knowledge that I should not satisfy my senses. I should satisfy the senses of Krishna. Okay, so that is what is said here. Now 4.20, Tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya trupto nirashrayah karmani abhipravritto api naiva kinchit karoti saha. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So here, abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities. Now, what Krishna says, you give up the results of your activities, meaning you just leave it to me. Okay, that is what. And ever satisfied. So he's this devotee, he is ever satisfied. See, whatever he is with, he never expects more or less anything. Whatever Krishna has given, he is satisfied with that. Okay, and is independent. And he performs no fruitive action. So we said, right, he does not perform actions with the expectation of some result. He does only action for Krishna. He does not want any want to do any fruitive action. Okay, with material activities. Okay, whatever he does for pleasing Krishna, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Okay, so now let's see what in the purport Prabhupada says. Reactions of Krishna conscious person's work are burnt up by his perfect knowledge that he is the eternal servitor of the Lord. So we saw, right, how by performing duties for Krishna, just by knowing that knowledge, okay, so all our activities, I mean, like the karmic reactions, good and bad, are just burnt up just by that knowledge. Okay, this knowledge is compared to fire that burns up all kind of reactions to work. He is rid of sense gratificatory propensities. So we saw, right, a devotee never works for his satisfying his senses. He works to satisfy the senses of Krishna. This freedom from the bondage of actions is possible only in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so you can get freed from the bondage of actions only by Krishna consciousness. There is no other way. Because even in karma kanda you are bound to this material world. So in karma kanda, what do? You do prescribed duties that are mentioned in the shastras. So that is pious karma. So what happens when you do pious karma? After this birth you go to heavenly planets. There in heavenly planets, after your pious credit is over, you come back again, you fall into this material planet, you take birth in this material planet. So again you have to suffer, right? So there's no freedom. So the only way you can get freedom from this bondage of actions or material world is only through Krishna consciousness. That is Buddhi Yoga or Nishkama Karma Yoga. So when you act for Krishna, you become a karma. Okay. So for personal maintenance too, he surrenders to Krishna. So for his daily needs or whatever, he just surrenders to Krishna. Like whatever Krishna gives, he's just maintaining himself with that. Whatever minimum, whatever Krishna gives, that is enough for him. He is neither interested to secure things nor to protect the things he already has. So he's like a very simple person. Okay, he is not like interested to get some extra things, or he's like overprotective over the things that he have. He hides them, nothing like that. Okay, he does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. So some people may think that, oh, if everything is predestined, that we will get so much money, so much this thing, that thing, so we don't have to work, we lazily sit. No, not like that. So he does. We have to do our duty. We have to give the 100. We have to do our 100%, and then leave the rest to Krishna. Okay, it's not that lazily we sit. Now we see Arjuna also. He didn't tell Arjuna, "You sit, Arjuna. I will fight for you." No, he didn't say that. He said, "You fight. I will give the result, and leave everything to me." Okay, he didn't tell Arjuna, "You happily sit. I will fight for you." So like that, we should not escape our work. We should do our duty. We should give our best. We should do our 100%, and then leave the rest to Krishna. Okay. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant actions of good and bad, as though he is not doing anything. So obviously, when he performs for Krishna, he's like akarma. He has no reaction. It is as good as he's doing nothing. Right? The karma sannyas, they don't do nothing, right? So, like that, here also, though he's performing actions, but he's performing actions for Krishna, he is not getting any reaction. Though he's performing some action, he is still not getting any reaction. Right? It's equal to like he's not doing anything. Right? So, this is the sign of akarma, or actions without fruitive reactions. So, this is akarma. You have no good or bad karma. So it is without fruitive results. Okay. This is the same repetition above. I don't know why it is repeated again. See, this freedom from the bondage of actions is possible only in Krishna consciousness. When one is doing everything in Krishna, a Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of action. So he is not even attached to his personal maintenance, for everything is left to Krishna. Nor is he anxious to secure things, nor to protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything. So, this is the sign of akarma, or actions without fruitive reactions. So, any other action, therefore, devoid of Krishna consciousness, is binding upon the worker, and that is the real aspect of vikarma, as explained herein before. So any other action that you do against Krishna consciousness will bind you to this material world. Anything. Because even if you are a karma kandi, it is binding you. If you are doing bad activities against the scriptures, vikarma, it is binding you. So the only thing that is not binding you is akarma, which is nishkama karma yoga. Okay, so Krishna is telling, this is good for you, Arjuna, not karma sannyas. Don't take karma sannyas. I don't recommend karma sannyas. So you do nishkama karma yoga. Okay, so now let's go to 21 and 22. So, निराशेर्यता चित्तात्मा त्यक्ता सर्वा परिग्रहः शरीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Okay, so a person who's in Krishna consciousness, a devotee, he gives up all sense of proprietorships over his positions. Okay, He does not say, this is mine, that is mine, that property is mine, that money is mine, that house is mine, that family member, that she is my wife, children. No, he says everything in this world is given by God, and everything has to be engaged in the service of Lord. Okay, so he gives up all sense of proprietorship. He stays in that house and he says that this is the house of Krishna. I am the guardian of Krishna, of this house. Okay, I'm maintaining this house and all of you on behalf of Krishna. So he never says that this is mine, everything is mine. He knows he knows that everything belongs to Krishna, and he engages everything in the service of Krishna and acts only for the bare necessities of life. He's not like doing ugra karma, like working more than 2-3 times and then earning so much money and then spending it for sense gratification. Nothing like that. He works just for the sake of to maintain body and soul. So, like Prabhupada says, right, simple living and high thinking. Okay, he just acts only for the bare necessities of life. Just to his main aim is to do Krishna conscious activities, but somehow, you see, without working, we can't get food, right? So, for that bare minimum, he works for the bare necessities. Like children have to go to school, like at home, yeah, we need food, we need house, bare things that are needed in the house, clothes. So like that, bare necessities, he works for that, but not he doesn't do ugra karma and all that. Too hard, severely working, nothing like that. Okay, so like that working, though he's working now, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Okay, though it appears that he's working like a karmi for his bare necessities, but his main intention is Krishna conscious activities. So to support his body and soul, he does the bare minimum, but his main thing is focus is on Krishna conscious activities. Thus, whatever he performs, activity that he performs is not affected by sinful reactions. Okay. So next, let's go to 22. Yadruchalabha santushto dvandvaitito vamatsaraha samah siddhau asiddhau cha kritva pina nibadhyate. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. So he who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord. It's something like when he's, for instance, he's doing some business and he gets profit, he just accepts the profit. If it just comes on its own, it's not that he cheats somebody and he gets profit and like that. No. A Krishna conscious person, he does everything sincerely, honestly. Whatever comes automatically to him, he accepts. Okay. And he's free from duality. Like he's not, he's like on the same plane, he's steady. See, we earlier learned, right? A person in Krishna consciousness is steady throughout. His mind is always steady. It's not disturbed. So he's free from duality. Like when happiness comes, he's not like flying in the air. When sadness comes, he's like drooping to the earth. Nothing like that. So he is like on a steady level. He's not like too happy. He's like his main aim is like Krishna consciousness, right? So materially, he knows that happiness, sadness will come and go. So he's not super excited or he's super sad. Nothing like that. So he knows happiness will come and go. Again, sadness will come. Both will come and go, come and go. So he's like steady. So he's free from the duality, and he does not envy anybody because he sees in every living entity, Paramatma is there. Okay, so he does not envy any living entity, and who is study in success and failure. So we've seen that example, right? When we go for book distribution, it is not success or failure. You should not think that if you are not able to distribute even a single book that day, it is failure. Oh, and you get depressed and you get demotivated. No, he never gets like that. He thinks that everything is being done by Krishna. I'm just an instrument. So he is not he's steady even in success and failure. If success comes, he thanks Krishna. If failure comes, he thinks it's a learning lesson. He thinks it is because of my karma this happened. Okay, and Krishna maybe he wants to teach me some lesson because of this failure. Okay, or because of failure, only when failure occurs do we remember God, right? So he thinks that, oh, Krishna has given me a chance to remember him more and more because of this failure. So he always thinks everything positively. Okay, and he's never entangled. Although he's performing all these actions, he is never entangled because everything he's doing it with this Krishna conscious mode. He's doing everything for the sake of Krishna. So that is why any activity that he does not bind him to this material world. Okay, he's never entangled. So a Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad results in his activities. Okay, because he knows if he expects good or bad, he will be entangled to this material world. Okay, so his mind and intelligence are fully controlled. Okay, so he controls his mind and intelligence. By the practice of Krishna consciousness, it becomes pure, and his mind and intelligence they become steady. So they're controlled. He knows that because he's part and parcel of the Supreme, the part played by him as a part and parcel of the whole is not his own activity, but is only being done through him by the Supreme. Okay, he knows that he is like just an instrument in the hands of the Lord. Okay, the Lord wants him to do this activity, and he is just doing it because he wants it to be done. He doesn't think that I am doing, oh, I have distributed 100 books today. I am so great because of my